Good morning, Dopey. Your favorite podcast. Now a YouTube show.
Good morning, Dopey. The Oxy's the Blow, your favorite podcast, now a hit YouTube show. Howie, is this even a YouTube show?
What do you mean? What other kind of show would it be?
I don't know. Is it even a show?
It's barely a YouTube
Yeah,
show.
it's
But
barely a YouTube show.
that should be the new lyric.
How you sing it? You sing
Good morning, Dopey. I don't know. What's the next line?
it. The Oxy's the Blow.
The Oxy's the blow?
Yeah.
Is that a lyric you wrote?
Yes.
The Oxy's the blow. Next.
Your favorite podcast.
Your favorite. I like when he goes, podcast. Now a YouTube show.
All right, enough.
Everybody.
Today is Good Morning, Dopey. This is February 27th. You want me to read comments or no?
Do I want you to do what? No, don't read a comment. Just read the thing.
You don't want me to read a comment?
Nope.
All right. A unique stability. Where does AA get its direction? These practical folk then read tradition 2. Or these practical folk then read tradition 2 and learned that the sole authority in AA is a loving God as he may express himself in the group conscience. The elder statesman is the one who sees the wisdom of the group's decision, who holds no resentment over his reduced status, whose judgment, fortified by considerable experience, is sound, and who is willing to sit quietly on the sidelines, patiently awaiting developments. Into the fabric of recovery from alcoholism are woven the 12 steps and the 12 traditions. As my recovery progressed, I realized that the new mantle was tailor-made for me. The elders of the group gently offered everyone's suggestion when change became the substance for treasured friendships. I know that the fellowship is ready and equipped to aid each suffering alcoholic at all crossroads in life. In a world beset by many problems, I find this assurance a unique stability. I cherish the gift of sobriety. I offer God my gratitude for the strength I receive in a fellowship that truly exists for the good of all of its members. Yeah, I'm totally lost. Did you listen to that at all?
Yeah, I didn't hear it.
Let's just see what the second tradition is. All right.
Every time I look at this camera,
What?
it's pissing me off. It's like stuttering. Sucks.
Ah.
All right.
For one group purpose, there is but one ultimate authority, a loving God as he may express himself in our group conscience. Our leaders are but trusted servants. I mean, that's just saying, the point of this is it's saying that AA has stability because group conscience determines the way, the kind of law of the land. Each meeting is self-governed and only governed by group conscience.
Okay.
Like there's a business meeting, which are usually like the end of the world. Like we should do a reality show just about business meetings in AA. It's like,
when you say business meetings, you mean like housekeeping kind of stuff?
yeah, every month the whoever wants to be in the business meeting goes to the business meeting and they talk about how much money they made. Where does the money?
They made?
Yeah, every day they take donations. And then they save the money, and then they figure out how much they made, what they want to spend the money on, where the money goes.
Wait a minute, hold on. Just take a step back for a second. Who's collecting money?
The AA group.
The people that run the group are collecting donations from the people who attend because it's free to attend.
Yes.
So if you feel so inclined, you could say,
Here's $1.
Here's $1, here's $10.
Yeah.
And you would be giving that to...
I've never given $10, but
you'd be giving that to the one person who runs the group.
No, you give it to the treasurer.
The treasurer of the group. Okay.
Yes.
And who's talking about how much money they made?
The treasurer gives a treasurer report.
Oh, the treasurer says, okay, this meeting...
They take out a book and they said, okay, this month we've made this much money.
Okay.
We spent this much money of that money on literature. We've spent this much money on coffee.
Okay.
We spent this much money on cookies.
So that's like any other group. Okay.
But you go to a group that does that?
No, but I mean, every group, a Girl Scout, a Boy Scout group, I mean, they all generally have the same thing. If
Right.
They need to,
so that's exactly what it is.
So they operate on donations. There's no funding from some sort of a local national chapter. Or anything
I think you could contact state service or world service or county service and say, we need support. I think you could do that.
But it's generally supported by the members of the group.
More often than not, the group support the national.
And you've never, ever donated.
I donate every day. I just never donated $10. I usually give 1 or 2.
Oh, okay.
And then if I miss a few meetings, I'll give 5.
There's like a little gesture. That's kind of nice.
You have to give some. I mean, you don't have to, but if you don't if you don't give money, they look at you. They're like,
right. Isn't that, now this is very interesting.
What?
Let me tell you why this is interesting.
Okay.
Because
just because you don't tip your garbage men doesn't mean I'm not
Right.
going to tip into AA.
And that's what they say in AA. Everybody
Tip your garbage men. Yeah. Tip your garbage men. Is this thing on? I'm here all week.
Right. If you can go, as a Jew, you can go into any temple for free.
Well, you have to pay to go to temple if you're not a Jew?
Well, they would, anyone would prefer that, I mean, in the Jewish religion at least, that you become a member of that congregation if you go on a regular basis, because obviously they depend on support, but you don't have to.
I'm not a member anywhere.
You're a member of AA?
Yes, but I'm not a member of any synagogue.
Oh, no, I know, but I'm saying that it's interesting that both have religion at their center point, but in an organized religious environment,
you got to pay.
Technically, no, well, I guess technically you don't. And that's the point, is that should be available for everyone.
Right.
I mean, obviously when it comes down to it, they would prefer
and
to have more
AA is
congregants.
not religious at its center either. It's spiritual.
Is it really not?
It's not.
I don't see how something that revolves around God cannot be religious.
But it's not revolving around God. It's revolving around
every other word is God.
Well, that's this book. This is a daily reflection book. This is not the AA book.
Oh.
But the AA book has a lot of God in it too, but it also has a chapter for the agnostics. Like, you don't have to have God to be in AA.
Okay. So I just don't understand. Yeah, because I was kind
You've
of
been doing this for months.
Well, how would I know that? All I know is this book. I don't know anything about it.
All right, keep
And
going.
what
I'm
I've
not
seen
going
on
to pass
TV.
out. I feel like my eyes rolling back in my head.
Jesus.
What were you going to say?
No. I was just making a point that where both depend very heavily on religion in a traditional religious environment, the idea would be that you don't have to give anything. Our doors are open for anyone in the community, any religion or whatever. But in here, it's like, hold on a second, we're not backed by the church here.
I think it's
we
opposite.
need something.
I think it's opposite. I think if you're the member of a church and you're supposed to make a tithe, it's a big percentage of your money. And I know that synagogues, if you're a member, you got to pay into it. And Judaism suggests that you make charitable tzedakah to a certain amount of different organizations every year. And AA, it's just saying our group is self-supporting.
Yeah.
If you can throw a buck, throw a buck.
Right. Yeah.
And if you can't,
there's nothing wrong with
no
it at
one's
all.
going to
You have to
judge you. I mean,
survive.
I've been to plenty of meetings where I never threw a buck. Once I had money, I didn't even think.
I thought you were saying that if you don't donate, they're going to be like,
no, I'm just saying,
this
like,
guy
some
outta here.
judgmental, non-spiritual members are going to side eye you if you don't throw a buck in the basket.
Okay. I misread it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, that I think it's completely fair.
But I think this episode of the Daily Reflections, this reading, is about the stability of 12-step groups because of the traditions. It's really
which makes sense. Which also has a lot to do with, correct me if I'm wrong, but like the idea that you have people who are in the program who may have been sober for a very long time, and they have a little bit more knowledge and experience, and they can kind of lead the way for people who are still struggling, right? And there's some balance there, because then maybe eventually someone who's been sober for a day and a week and a year and a month, they become the stable part of the organization, right? Like, it sort of builds on itself. The older members who have more sobriety can support the younger members who will hopefully eventually have a lot of sobriety.
The idea is that you reach out to the newcomer.
Yeah.
And you lend your hand where you can, and that you hope that the newcomer does it for the next one.
Right.
Yes.
And being useful. Like, now your life has purpose. You're here to help, just sort of like what you're doing with Dopey, where like you have a purpose in doing it. What do you mean no?
I do Dopey because I'm greedy and self-centered, and I want Dopey to be this great show.
That. Yeah, you say that, but
I don't do
obviously
Dopey. I don't do Dopey to help anybody.
you don't care. You read the comments.
I read it because I'm self-seeking, and I want to feel good about myself.
Well, then the question is, and this is a question that I've heard asked a million times, which is it wrong to do the right thing
For the wrong reason.
Well, is it the wrong reason? If you're doing it because it makes you feel good, is that wrong? It's still the same result.
I think that's part of the paradox.
That is a paradox.
Yes.
I would almost say, I mean, if you're not particularly religious about it, then as long as the result is
Positive, then
net
you're
positive,
yeah.
then it's great. If that makes you feel good, it makes them feel good.
And if a
why is that
tree
wrong?
falls in the forest and no
How
one is
many
there,
people does it take to screw in a light? Oh, sorry.
does it make a sound?
What?
The tree.
If it fell in a forest?
But no one is there to hear it. Did it make a sound?
Of course it made a sound.
Stay strong, Dopey Nation, and fucking toodles for Chris.
Dopey, I'm face down on the floor. Dopey, please sir, can I have some more? Dopey,